Hi there, Jeffrey Rhoades from Experimental Homesteader, Exotic Gardening, and Sheri and Richerson.com. Please subscribe to the daily vlog, and thank you to all those who are subscribing already. So as an update, yes, the Cobalt is parked for now, but I did get the Plymouth Breeze started yesterday. We took it into a shop and got some work done on it. We replaced the battery. The problem that I was having was to replace the battery, you have to take the left front wheel off of the car because the battery is up in the wheel well, and I don't really have the place to properly do that type of work. I've got the tools to do it, but we don't really have a good solid foundation location for operating a good floor jack. So it was easier and not much more expensive to have it taken into a shop. But I got it, the battery charged up a little bit, got the car started, we drove it to the shop. They replaced the battery, they did an oil change. So now the Plymouth Breeze is running. The Cobalt, we talked to the owner of the shop that we took the Plymouth into. They've done some work on the Cobalt before as well, and gave us an estimate, and it is a lot less than what Mike Anderson was giving us. So we're not as far away from having some of the work done on the Cobalt. I mean, yes, we don't really have the money yet, but there's a little bit of silver lining as far as what it will cost us. It was about, I think it was about half, or almost half of what Mike Anderson was quoting us for this other shop to do the work. Now, it's the two rear springs and one shock in the back, not both. Although both shocks probably should be replaced when the work is done, just because the other shock is probably worn and ready to break. And what Mike Anderson had told us when they did the inspection, the one spring in the back it appeared to have been broken for a while. There was rust on the edges of the broken area, so it had broken some time ago. It was the other side that when the spring broke, it also broke the shock. Now when I drove it, it drove okay. It just, it's one of those where with broken springs, there is a little bit of an issue of, if you hit a hard bump, you go over some really rough railroad tracks, you could bottom out, you could, pop the spring out of place and drop onto the tire or the axle and do some major damage. But, being cautious with the car, not driving it too far, it could still be driven. The front bushings, yeah, they need to be replaced. They're worn, but they're not a high priority at the moment. So the wiring, what was chewed up, we have a sensor. It's an emissions sensor that the wiring it's been replaced before or spliced before, and has some chew area, looks like it's been chewed on by like a squirrel, and so the sensor isn't working, and that's giving us a check engine light, and it may be affecting our fuel mileage a little bit, but it's nothing really too serious with the car. Yeah, if we get a chance, it should be fixed, and I'm not sure just what that would take. It might be something that I can do myself. I haven't looked. I don't know. It probably is something that would be pretty simple. Now, what he was saying about the rest of the wiring, it was more, if a squirrel had gotten to this wiring, they might have gotten up above the tank and gotten into some of the other wiring and chewed on it. But, nothing was said when they did the work on the fuel tank as far as any wiring that appeared to be chewed and needed replacing. I kind of feel like they didn't really do a thorough inspection when they were replacing that tank. Because, obviously, if they'd have really, looked around, if something was wrong when they were putting the tank back, they should have been able to notice it. So, just kind of my complaints with Mike Anderson at this point. But we do, currently have 2 working vehicles. The truck actually is working. I did charge up the battery, or actually I took it out and took it to AutoZone. They charged it, tested it. It came back as a good battery. It's fully charged. It's just that the truck has no heat. So in the wintertime, it's not real, great to drive. There are some other, it's got an exhaust issue. So, it's got some problems that need to be fixed, but, it is drivable. It's just a gas guzzler as well. So, in an emergency situation, it's usable. For hauling purposes, it's still usable. But yes, it does need some work. And of course the motorcycle, it's been parked for quite a while. It needs quite a bit of work at this point. At least, tune-up wise, it needs a lot of little tweaks, little things, a new battery, it needs a tune-up, it needs some new tires. So there's several things that need to be done to get it operational, but it's within, probably next spring if I get the chance. That may be a project for me to work on and have it up and operational. So, I've got several jobs to do. I just have to get to them. So, and that's the same way with the house. I've got several projects that I'm working on, trying to get the house fixed up. And, it's just a matter of time. Finding the right moments to do the work that needs to be done. Anyways, I think that's going to be enough for today. Like I said before, please subscribe, help us out. Give us your comments below, give us thumbs up and thumbs down, and we will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.